What is up, y'all? It is Mike and Nick back for this massive UFC card, UFC 317. We got a lot of banger fights out here, and we're looking to get into it. How are you doing today, Nick?
I'm good, Mike. How are you today?
Pretty good. I had a good day. You know, we got active, helped my mom do some stuff, so I'm happy to be on here. I love breaking down the fights with you, talking about picks, seeing where we see some differences or some similarities, and come to some conclusions that might end up in a couple snipe shots for this weekend.
Yeah, and I have a feeling we're going to disagree on a few of them. Your hair looks good, bro. You look good. If you were to go back to some of our first few videos, I know we're pretty inconsistent naturally between me and you, unfortunately, but if you go back to some of our first few videos, man, you look like a completely different human. You know, it's pretty great to see, man. You look good. Hair looks clean. I'm ready to make a little bit of money. I think we should let a few people kind of get into the live as we're doing this. Yeah, I'm pretty excited, bro. I'm pretty excited. So good ass card, pretty much top to bottom. A few last minute replacements and fallouts and things of that nature. So, but that's never too big of a deal, no. So, I mean, we have some very interesting lines too, as well, which I find about this card after doing the tape study, because I've gotten into a real habit of doing the tape study before I've actually dove into the lines, just due to the fact that if I dive into the lines first, I'll have this pre-made bias. Even if I say I won't, I always end up having one. So there we are with it. So yeah, UFC 317. A lot of differing opinions online from what I'm seeing about a few certain fights too, as well. And when we get to those fights, I'll kind of bring up some of those differing opinions. But yeah, so let's get into some scraps. Yeah, let's do it.
We'll pull up.
One second. My dog's fucking annoying me. He wants me to grab his ball. Give me 1 second.
We gonna get we got some crazy stuff going on for UFC 317. While Nick's gone, a lot of crazy line movement, some pretty banger matchups, some very highly anticipated fights. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a pretty solid card from top to bottom. Even the first fight of the night, we're not gonna go over the first fight of the night, just because Jackson McVeigh, who stepped in on short notice against Cedriquez Dumas, he stepped in on short notice, and now Cedriquez Dumas is no longer fighting. So another guy, Christopher Ewart, is now stepping in, and these guys are both taking this fight on less than a week's notice. So we're not going to go over that one because we don't have too much to say. However, I will note that Christopher Ewart guy looks like a badass. So from a blind pick with no research at all, I'm going to take that guy based off that he looks tough as fuck. And then we're going to jump into it. I'll pull it up on the screen here with the first fight that we are going to be going through, which is a heavyweight bout between Jonathan Deniz and Alvin Hines. Absolute banger. It's gonna be a slugfest. Probably won't be a slugfest, actually, if we're being honest. Alvin Hines 7-0. I don't know too much about him. All I know is that if Jonathan Deniz loses this fight, cut him.
I don't have much to say about this fight, quite frankly, besides the two fights that I did watch. I watched the Hicks fight for Alvin Hines. He has decent jiu-jitsu, I will say. I don't let the steroid body that he has fool me, because he moves and fights a little bit better than the steroid body he has. I think a good play for this fight just in general will be the under 1.5. You're going to have Deniz that's going to come out here, try to stalk him, walk him against the cage, throw 1-2s down the middle, maybe throw a few low kicks. But I've been burned on heavyweight under so many times. Every time I tell you guys to take the heavyweight under, I feel like it fucking burns me. So with that being said, you guys may as well take the over. That's the only way I'd play this fight. Maybe watch it live, because Alvin Hines, I will say, doesn't have, again, his body is a little bit misleading for how his gas tank looks. He doesn't look like he's a complete cardio dirtbag. And again, he's a little bit more skilled than he looks. So if you guys have a chance, I highly recommend going back and watching. I believe his name's Liam Hicks, Jordan Hicks. One of the two Hicks kind of fights for Alvin Hines too as well. And then he also has a fight with Billy Ray Valdez where it's a slugfest for the first round, kind of a slow pace, methodical fight for the second round, and then he finishes in the third. So yeah, give me and I don't think it's the worst dog shot. I just want to say that. I don't think it's the worst dog shot. He just fought in April, so he probably isn't in relatively bad shape. And from what I was understanding, looking into his Instagram and things of that nature, he was already in camp for another fight. So, yeah, give me the under 1.5 and possibly a dog shot as a sprinkle, and I expect to go 0-2 for both.
You got the odds on Jonathan Deniz by knockout. I think I can probably pull it up on here, but if I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking
60. It's minus 160 on DraftKings. It's not worth dick.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not worth dick. If anything, his submission is what's worth dick. It's plus 2,500. So okay. I can see like a gas bag ass scenario where I could see a gas bag scenario where someone's just dying and someone goes to sleep via arm triangle, which fight to end in submission plus 600 is a little bit more juicy to me in terms of just like playing a little bit sprinkle and something fun actually, because Alvin Hines does have a few wins by submission, and Jonathan Deniz, even though I don't think he has any wins by submission, maybe one, he is a fucking Brazilian. So something in there.
Yeah, this fight is not. Certainly, there are plenty of fights on this card that are going to be more worthy of throwing down on. And we're at another one that is not necessarily the one that you want to throw down on. But
honestly, I just really don't even want to spend time on these bullshit fights. So I'm let's bust out these ones quick, bro.
I wanted to talk about Jacoby Smith briefly.
Let's just take the under 1.5. I mean, take him in round 1, quite frankly. If there's Jacoby Smith round 1, because Nico Price is beyond wash. Jacoby Smith round 1, no prop whatsoever, just simply round 1. Minus 150. It's worth a parlay piece. That's all I have to say.
Jacoby Smith is one of my favorite up-and-coming prospects. About the matchup, it's pretty much a squash match, setup spot, get him some confidence. But this kid, Jacoby Smith, legit wrestler, legit power. I'm super excited for him. This should be an opportunity for him to get a showcase. From a betting standpoint, obviously it's going to be unplayable. But for fans of the sport and who like violence, I think this one is going to be a reason that you want to tune into the early prelims. Jacoby Smith is an absolute stud, and I'm super excited. I've been waiting for a fight announcement for a long time. Not that long, but long enough. And I'm super excited to watch him fight. So no betting opportunity on this one, but Jacoby Smith is that guy. So
sweet. Let's move on to what actually matters.
Hey, Jacoby Smith will be challenging for a title in the next 2 years.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this is a betting show. We're not talking about
Hey, it's a breakdown show. It's a love for the sport show. We love this shit. I love this shit. I love Jacoby Smith.
I mean, yeah. I don't care. I'm here to talk about the lines. I'm going to be real with you. I mean, I love the sport, no doubt, but I'm here to talk about the lines, give you guys the fucking juice. And
I like to talk about it all, baby.
There's
so
no fucking juice. There's no juice there. You really think Jacoby Smith?
And he was enthusiastic about the fights right here, so I'm gonna always keep that enthusiasm, no matter what, no matter the lines.
You really think Jacoby Smith's gonna? I'm not saying he's not. So me questioning this is not saying he's not. You really think he's on the level to contend for a title?
I think that he will be after he continues to get better in his career. He has potential in all areas, and his wrestling, grappling, striking, he's getting better every time he fights. He's violent, which I love, and the UFC is going to want to boost him up if he goes out there and disposes of Nico Price in vicious fashion. They're going to want to build him up in a way that will be positive for him and the company, instead of like feeding him to somebody who's a terrible mismatch. So they're going to be letting him boost up, letting him learn, and then they'll throw him in when he's ready. So I think he has a legit chance. I mean, who knows? He could go out there and blow the bag in the next fight like Payton Talbott, but I think this guy's for real.
Nico Price's chin's compromised. His takedown defense has been god-awful since day one. This is like one of those rare cases, I hate to say that, I don't really feel like, unless he has like one of those Nico Price moments where he hits someone from like a upside down triangle, there's like almost no shot that he beats Jacoby Smith here. I could eat crow saying that, but I highly doubt it.
I feel bad for Nico Price for having to be involved in this fight at all.
And honestly, I mean, like minus 150 for round 1 in Smith. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, the price isn't great, but I mean, for what it is, it's kind of value. It's kind of value, but I just don't know if I would say he's we'll have to see. I hope he just doesn't fall in love with his hands too much. I hope he does utilize his wrestling.
I agree.
So Terrance McKinney and Slava Claus, baby. I'm pretty fucking excited. I'm beyond excited about this fight because no matter how many minutes it lasts, 7.5 and below, it's going to be absolute war, absolute terror. I'm curious your thoughts. I'd like you to go first on this.
So this one, dude, I'll have to look through Terrance McKinney's record, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I think just because of his finishing potential, I've taken him in pretty much every fight where it matters in terms of like, obviously if he's going into a fight and him to get a knockout, it's minus 140, or and the sub is plus 200, I'll take the sub instead, or vice versa. I'll take the one with the better odds. And it's panned out decently well a few times. I took him against the Bonfim brother who slept him with the knee. I took him against Nazim Sadikov. He lost that fight too. And if I'm taking him against those guys, I don't see any reason why I'm not going to take him against Viacheslav Borshchev, even though Slaviclaus does have some serious hands and feet. He's a great kickboxer. But his takedown defense, although it has improved, and he fought very well against Nazim Sadikov, we have seen him subject to getting taken on the ground, and Terrance McKinney is a finish or be finished fighter. And in this case, I mean, a small part of me wants to take Slaviclaus just because I believe he's an underdog. Plus 142, it's not really juicy. McKinney minus 170. McKinney submission plus 300. That's something that sticks out to me because Slaviclaus isn't the guy who gets just slept. I mean, he did get dropped by Chase Hooper, and that was because he was anticipating wrestling. So if Terrance McKinney goes and he mixes it up, he could either drop him or land a takedown, and he is a lethal finisher in the first 1.5 rounds. So if I was going to take anything, I'm going Terrance McKinney inside the distance or a sprinkle on the plus 300 submission.
I mean, this fight, in my opinion, I think this fight's easy to call. I mean, the reason that I'm excited for it last is under 7.5 is Terrance McKinney has 16 wins in his career, and 15 of those have come in round 1. So, yeah, if you're going to take Terrance McKinney, you take Terrance McKinney round 1 plus 125, or you take Terrance McKinney by submission plus 300. I couldn't agree more with that. I think Terrance McKinney by submission is his easiest and safest way to win. He has really fast, dynamic, athletic wrestling and chain wrestling for the first 2 minutes of a fight, and for the first 2.5 minutes where he has that explosive gas tank. Slaviclaus has a expired chin at this point. His chinny, to say the bare minimum. We've seen takedown deficiencies and flaws inside of his game. If I'm being completely honest with you, if this fight goes past round 1, I will lay money on Slaviclaus because I can't trust Terrance McKinney for $1 past that. But that's if it gets past round 1, and I don't see that happening, man. I see Terrance McKinney either coming out swinging wild left and right hooks, and Slaviclaus is going to be able to circle far enough off the cage before he gets caught with one of them and goes to sleep, or he's going to take him down and take his back like he did against Faraz Ayam. So give me Terrance McKinney. Give me Terrance McKinney via round 1. Give me Terrance McKinney by submission. I like it all. Terrance McKinney money line minus 170. I think is a great parlay piece. Quite frankly, if you're willing to hammer, it's a super hammer spot. Terrance McKinney round 1, well worth the juice. And Terrance McKinney by submission isn't a sprinkle, more like a half unit kind of play. So and again, if it gets past round 1, that's how Slava wins this fight. But I don't see him getting past round 1. So
it's going to be a fun one. That one for sure is going to be a fun one. Next, this fight to me is interesting. I want to hear what you have to say about this one. We got Viviane Araujo and Tracy Cortez, women's flyweight bout. What are your thoughts on this?
So you have Araujo here who is going to stay from range and kickbox from range as compared to Tracy Cortez's kind of fights with that fuck you attitude. She kind of gets in your face, especially. She's a little bit of a slow starter, which I have an issue with. As Araujo is the opposite of a slow starter. She kind of gets going quickly, and she kind of fades, I feel like, as it tends to go long. As compared to Tracy Cortez is quite the opposite. She starts a little bit slower than tends to pick up the pace. It's a complete mash of styles here in this case. I think Tracy Cortez is younger. I think Tracy Cortez is going to be better. I think you can guarantee Viviane wins round 1. You can guarantee Tracy wins round 3. It kind of just going to come down to round 2 then in that case. And I think Tracy gets it done, man. And I haven't even looked at the lines now that I think about it. I think Tracy gets it done, and I think Tracy gets it done by decision. Give me rounds 2 and 3 by Tracy. I'm pretty confident in Tracy too as well. So minus 250, it's almost unplayable. Quite frankly, it's almost unplayable. But the best thing is I do think she is going to lose round 1 because Viviane is Viviane's a fire starter here when it comes to round 1. So I think we're going to get a good line on Tracy come that time.
Yeah, Viviane.
At any point, if you chase Tracy Cortez on her back, especially in round 1, she will be well worth the live line because, again, she's someone that builds into fights and she reads into fights later. And I don't know. I just think defensively she's going to be a little bit too strong as the fight goes later.
I think Viviane Araujo was alive, dude. When I was looking at the fight card, and Viviane Araujo, she's proven in fights before that she can continue on later in the fight. She did so against Karine Silva, a very highly touted prospect who actually gets a lot of finishes as well. That fight sticks out to me. She has several fights recently as she's been, I think she's 38 now, and she just has grit. She's a solid, well-rounded fighter. Tracy Cortez, 11-2 now. She recently lost to Rose Namajunas. She did beat Jasmine Jasdavicius, who I also think is very tough. But Viviane Araujo is she's pretty good. And when I saw it, I was like, plus 205. I was already thinking this could be a sleeper pick. She is older, but I feel like that matters more in men's fighting than women's fighting a lot of the time, just for whatever reason. I don't know. Tracy Cortez doesn't necessarily. I mean, she's good. She's good boxing. I guess She doesn't really do too much on the ground. She was able to kind of nullify Jasmine Jasdavicius, who's an amazing wrestler. Which now makes me think Tracy Cortez. Jasmine Jasdavicius' win is pretty impressive, but that fight was real close. I kind of like Araujo here. I don't know. I don't even know. I was thinking Araujo, and now I'm thinking Tracy, and I just think if I was going to line this fight, I wouldn't be wanting to juice Araujo as much as the sports books are doing, just because I feel like she's live and she has busted prospects before. It's a tough one to call for me. I feel like it's a lot closer than the odds are saying, but I can see Tracy Cortez potentially being able to pick her apart, keep it on the feet towards the end of the fight, like you had already broken down, rounds 2 and round 3, edging out a close decision, 29-28. For me, I'm going to pick Araujo just because I had a hunch. I had a gut feeling, Viviane Araujo, so I'm going to take her for the Mike versus Nick pick. But this is going to be a close one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the pick, and it goes with my favorite theory of all time, of course. So, I mean, either way, I think it's a worthy play here specifically. So,
hell yeah.
I love this fight. This next fight coming up, Hyder Amil versus Jose Delgado, and there's a play that I actually really love too as well. I think Jose Delgado is. So this is a hard fight for me because as a fan, I love Hyder Amil. Who doesn't? He just goes out there and swings fucking hammers, steps his foot down and fucking doesn't move. He refuses to move. But I was watching his Dana White Contender Series fight against Shiraz, and he has a deficiency of getting taken down via single legs transition to double legs. And Jose Delgado transitions single legs against double legs to the cage incredibly well, and it takes the back incredibly well. Trains out of a good camp with a lot of good fighters. I know Hyder Amil, if I'm not mistaken, trains out of the Alpha Male camp, so he definitely trains with some good fighters too as well. But I just think Jose Delgado has a little bit more juice, a little bit more spark right now. I think he has the grappling edge. I think he has a heavy grappling edge. I think Jose Delgado's grappling is severely underrated. One thing that does worry me is a little bit on the chinnier side if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's 25 or 29, I'm sorry. I could be wrong there in terms of the age. But all that being said, he's 27 actually. All that being said, I like Jose Delgado here. I like him on the money line, -162. I like him by submission at +350. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hyder found that chin. And if that's kind of how you feel about it, Hyder by knockout +300. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at.
This fight's definitely going to be a banger.
Fight of the night written all over it for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's a few of them, but this one is definitely for the more casual fans, especially going to be an absolute sleeper. If they fuck around and tune in early, this is going to be a treat to watch. Hyder Amil, like you said, he refuses to move backwards. He's always plodding forward. He's always throwing with violent intentions, and he just does not stop. It's actually pretty unbelievable to watch. I remember in his last fight, I was all over the Panther, the Jaguar. What the fuck's his name?
William Gomez.
Yeah, William. You know I like him, and I was all over that pick. And although I thought it was a close fight and could have went either way, Hyder Amil was a dog, especially in round 3. He was a fucking dog.
I actually I thought Gomez won, but when I rewatched the tape a few days ago, I was like, damn, Hyder Amil really handled that business.
He just applies pressure and he refuses to stop. He's like a pit bull, dude. But the thing about Jose Delgado that I really like, he, in my opinion, is a more tactical striker who also throws with violent intentions. So I think Hyder Amil constantly pushing forward is going to leave him subject to get caught. We haven't seen him lose. He's undefeated. But I feel like he has been cracked a few times, just not hard enough in the right spot yet. And I have a feeling that Jose Delgado is live to potentially knock him out. He's just a little bit cleaner of a striker, and I feel like if he starts to have success with his counter striking, it's going to cause Hyder Amil to potentially finally stop plodding forward at all times. And if we see Hyder Amil on the back foot, which is not something that happens often, I think he might be in trouble. He is 35 years old. Jose Delgado is a fair bit younger. This is a tough one. This is basically a coin flip fight to me. I really have no idea what's going to happen, aside from I think that Delgado has a good chance at landing a counter shot when Hyder Amil's crashing in. But this is a tough one. I would think that, these guys are both tough, but you think under 2.5 is minus 166. Is there a world where this fight goes to decision?
I don't think so, just due to the fact that I think Delgado is going to set such a high pace in the beginning stages of the fight that if he doesn't finish Hyder Amil in my opinion, the first 10 minutes, I do think Hyder Amil finishes in the last 5. I think that's like, I feel like taking money to the bank on the fight doesn't go the distance is pretty safe here because Hyder Amil cracks. Jose has shown chin deficiencies, but I think Jose can make this fight easy on himself and take him down and try to choke him out.
Fight to go the distance? No. Minus 235. Potential parlay piece?
Yeah, it's definitely a parlay piece. What you would the way I would parlay it is I would do that with old boy to finish Nico Price around 1, Jacoby Smith.
That seems like a pretty solid bet, and it'll get you plus money as well, I believe.
Yeah, probably like plus 110.
Yeah.
Maybe like plus 103 something. But hey, plus money is worth it. So
right, absolutely. Yeah, if anybody's looking at this joint, make sure you're tuned in for Hyder Amil and Jose Delgado. They're going to put on an absolute show. I would say it's almost a guarantee.
Yeah, but the next fight you have Jack Hermansson versus RoboCop, which is definitely interesting. Do you want to go first on this one?
I'm kind of perplexed by this one. I
also am too as well. So like let's just openly spit some thoughts then in this case here for you. I guess you can say.
Exactly. For me, because if you look at it, okay, RoboCop versus Jack Hermansson. First thought, instantly, RoboCop's gonna fuck him up. But then I think about
really
Jack Hermansson's well-rounded game, like as we saw against fucking Joe Pyfer. He even had moments against, although he wasn't really able to do much against Sean Strickland. He moves well. He doesn't run out of gas. He's well-rounded. He can use his wrestling. He can strike from range. He's very athletic. I don't know. Part of me just thinks RoboCop's going to knock him out. And then part of me is like, I don't know, man. Jack Hermansson is a gritty vet. And I'm like super torn. This fight I've been thinking about more than most fights. Pretty much the only other fight besides this one that I'm like kind of perplexed at is the Viviane Araujo Tracy Cortez. It's hard for me to pick.
So this fight goes one of two ways for Jack Hermansson, I believe, and we've seen both of them already happen for him. Are you ready for this? If RoboCop chooses to stand striking, it's Chris Curtis all over again. It's RoboCop moving, and I don't think RoboCop has one. I also think he took a hellacious amount of damage versus Cannonier, and I think that is absolutely going to affect his body of work coming into now. Not that Hermansson, more of a mover, teep kick to the stomach, long jab, move, far right hand, straight right hand down the pipe. We're either going to see the Chris Curtis fight all over again, or we're going to see the Roman Dolidze fight all over again, where Gregory Rodrigues could implement his amazing grappling take his back and either submit him or put him in a position where he back flattens him and beats his fucking ass. Because Jack Hermansson also trusts his grappling far too much. Coming out of that all-star gym, all of those, or TriStar, whatever the Swedish gym is, all those fools absolutely just love their grappling to death. So, yeah, so I don't have anything for anyone. I don't even have a pick of a winner. That's how this fight's going to go. And I would come back to it and say I'm pretty proud of that call. It's either going to be Gregory Rodrigues making it easy on himself, taking him down and handling business like Roma Delise did, or it's going to look like the Chris Curtis fight. He's going to move. People are going to be pissed off because he's picking his way to a win and decision. So.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm excited for the stylistic clash. I wish Gregory Rodrigues would do his—
I want to say I'm excited for it, but I don't know if I actually am.
I'm just excited to see how it plays out. You know, like that's what I'm excited for. What is going to happen? I'm excited.
It is one of those fights where it's like, it's kind of hard to— you're right. How does it play out?
I have no fucking idea because Jack Hermansson is tricky. Gregory Rodrigues has all the skills to beat him, but Jack Hermansson might be able to figure something out that carries him to a decision where he potentially wins 29-28 on the cards after getting hurt in round 1, maybe. But I don't know. I have no idea, no bet, nothing for this one. Even the over-under is rough because you got over-under 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 145. Under 2.5 plus 114. If anything, yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing for that one.
If this was a 5-round fight, Jack Hermansson's a hammer spot, to be honest with you. What's the money line? Who's the favorite?
I like Hermansson, dude. Hermansson's plus 180, so that was also sticking out to me.
What? Oh, hell nah. If that money, you take Hermansson.
Dog shot? Are we going dog shot? Because I'm
no doubt. No,
I was ready to pick Hermansson myself. I'm not
it almost 2-1, no doubt about it in my mind. There's no world there. What? Nah, because the one thing about Gregory Rodrigues is he could, keyword is could, make this fight like the Dolidze fight. When the fuck does he ever? When does he ever?
He did it against who's that dude? He was elbowing him in the back of the head when he got him to the ground.
That garbage ass bull, Dennis
Talulin.
Bro, yeah, can we talk about that? RoboCop has a garbage ass record, bro. His wins are against guys like he lost against fucking Bruno Ferreira and fucking didn't he lose to Julian Marquez?
Did he beat?
Oh no, he beat Julian Marquez, bro. The only win that he has that's really that significantly like that I honestly can say I truly respect. Even Brad Tavares was washed when he fight him. Looking at his record, legitimately, is the fact that he beat Chidi and Jakwu. At least it was at 185, and Chidi looks amazing at 170.
Dude, Chidi and Jaquani was whooping him too.
And Jaquani, thank you. And he's gassed out.
He blew his. That's when his whole shit got split open, and you could see the artery. And then he just had dog in him at that point. But like you already said, he was looking pretty good against Jared Cannonier early, but he took a fucking beating in that fight, dude.
Yeah, Chidi gassed out hard in that fight. He like literally in the first round probably threw like 100 Muay Thai knees and elbows.
Right. Dude, I want to see Chidi and Randy Brown. That's what I want to see.
Chidi would fuck Randy Brown up.
Dude, Randy Brown is hitting his prime, man.
I'm a fan of Randy Brown. I'm a fan of Rude Boy.
I've been a hater.
If Chidi, and I have not, I've been the opposite. I may also made bank on him.
I've been a hater on him.
If Chidi, because Randy Brown loves the tall collar tie. Chidi would tie him up so quick and rip that motherfucker to shreds. One of the best Muay Thais in the MMA game, period.
Hell yeah. So yeah, this fight, a bit of a toss-up. If you're doing something with it, do it with your own research and maybe your gut feeling, because that's a tough one to call. Here we have a pretty interesting bantamweight bout between Payton Talbott and Felipe Lima. It almost seems like after Payton Talbott blew the bag against Raoni Barcelos, it seems like they're kind of, all right, either we're going to use you to build somebody else or you're going to have to show us that you're for real, because Felipe Lima is a fucking dog. We took him against Muhammad Naimov together. You remember how lit that was? Inside the distance submission in round 3. Felipe Lima is one of my
better calls, I would say, on the show would be Felipe Lima, because that was his first UFC fight. No one had seen him. No one had watched him. And he came in and just fucking handled fucking smoke and business. But I hate to say it, I'm gonna fade him. I think this is truly recency bias, how shitty Talbot looked in his last fight. Felipe Lima is not the little engine that could. He fights smart, he fights patient, but I think there's just going to be something about the dead eyes, as I always say about Payton. Dead eyes of Payton that's going to bother him. I think there's going to be at some points where he's going to gas out, where Payton's just going to not. I think Payton's just going to kind of put on a firestorm in the last 8 minutes of this fight. I can see round one, Felipe Lima beating his ass, maybe taking him down, smoking him a little bit, but Payton's still there, just being Payton. And then somewhere in the mid shift of round two, Payton just kind of start rolling a snowball downhill. Give me Payton. And I want to see what Payton's round three finish prop is, because
they think, I mean, the sportsbook thinks it's more likely that he wins by knockout than he does by decision. Round props, Payton Talbot round three plus 1,600.
Yeah, that's how I would play it, quite frankly, is especially on FanDuel where you can get round three or decision. That's the play. I like Payton Talbot round three or decision. I feel pretty confident about that, to be honest with you.
The only thing that worries me is if Felipe Lima, obviously, so we already know it. So Felipe Lima knows it. Payton Talbot is a damn good striker. And Felipe Lima has a good grappling game, good jiu-jitsu game. So what I'm nervous about, shout out, Denial, Goozy. Hey, okay, that's Alvin Hines, I think, right?
Yep, that Goozy's Alvin Hines.
So the thing that worries me is
I don't know if you saw my pick for Goozy. I said take a dog shot on that, take the under and take a dog shot, because I said about Goozy, don't let his body shape fool you. He has better cardio than his body looks, and not only that, I also think that he fights better than he looks. So I'm with that.
Oh yeah. But back to Felipe Lima, Jaime Barcelos is a bit older. Obviously, he has very good wrestling, but he was able to get Payton Talbot down and kind of beat on him. Like, so in my head, even though I'm kind of with you that I, for some reason, have a feeling Payton Talbot can pull it out, I'm just thinking, why won't Felipe Lima just get him down and use his jiu-jitsu to potentially find a finish? That's what I'm struggling with, because Payton Talbot is almost 2-1 underdog. Actually, no, not. He's plus 154. Felipe Lima minus 185. Payton Talbot by decision is plus 450. His knockout is only plus 350. So it seems like the books think it's more likely that he ends with a knockout than he does with a decision win. But I am nervous about Felipe Lima's ability to wrestle and grapple, and Payton Talbot's inability to defend takedowns. As we saw, Nick Aguirre was able to get Payton Talbot down for almost the entire first round. And he's not, I mean, no disrespect to Nick Aguirre, he's not UFC level. Cameron Simon obviously got smoked. The other guy he fought, I can't even remember his name. He literally jabbed him, knocked him out.
Yeah, no one remembers that guy. I mean, Junior Cortez had some wrestling success in the first round. I just don't think Felipe Lima has a great cardio base, all in all. Like, I don't think he has a. I just wasn't overly impressed with his cardio.
Did he finish Muhammad Naimov in the third round?
Yeah, but Muhammad Naimov has some of the worst cardio. Like, except for, honestly, I will say Naimov looked pretty good in his last fight, like a week or two ago. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm grasping at straws here, but I think Payton's going to light him up in the later half of the fight.
I would like to see Payton Talbot win. Honestly, I feel like they're doing him not that they're doing him a disservice, but they've kind of been giving him the slow build, and instead of giving him.
I think it's funny is I actually think this is a perfect fight of prospects. This is a true prospect fight, and I love it. Like,
yeah, but the way they were fighting him up before, they're kind of like they're doing it the slow build with him, like they did for like Sean O'Malley, and then
go lay down
after some wins, then give him a big name. But instead of giving him a big name, they're giving him a stiff test in a 14-1 Felipe Lima, who is so far undefeated in the UFC. I think he only has that one fight, or did he fight again? I can't remember.
He fought one more time. Who did he fight in to a decision?
Oh, Miles Johns. He fought Miles Johns.
Yeah, Miles Johns.
Miles Johns isn't bad. He's
I've never been Miles Johns, an overhand right, a possible flying knee, and a blast double.
Yeah, well, he's not my dude. It's probably on these videos. I'm a Miles Johns hater, but he's not bad. And that was at 145, I believe. Muhammad Naimov is also at 145. So he'll be down at 135 for the first time we've seen him in the UFC. Payton Talbot is pretty strong for the division, but his wrestling defense just worries me.
Payton Talbot's young. He's athletic. And you think he and his coaches don't know that his wrestling sucked last fight?
But he's fighting out of that. Isn't he fighting out of a small gym in Reno? I can't even remember the name of his gym.
It's like Fight Academy or something like that. But he spent a lot of time after his last fight in Team Alpha Male with like Andre Feely and them boys. So.
I want Payton Talbot to win so bad, bro. Fuck it. I'm gonna pick Payton Talbot with you. However, if anyone's watching, I am concerned about the wrestling deficiencies there. But this is an emotional pick. I'm gonna take Payton Talbot because I feel like the UFC is already trying to use him as a name to build Felipe Lima on. And Felipe Lima is going to be around for some time, but it would be nice to see Payton Talbot get it back after that Raoni Barcelos loss.
I don't think anyone's trying to build anyone's name off anyone in this fight. I think they just know this is a good ass fight between two young prospects.
It is a banger.
It's a banger. Like they probably looked at this and they probably smiled because they knew it was a good ass scrap. So
they're like, yeah, we cooked on this one, boys. All right, we're both going with Payton Talbot. That leads us into the lightweight bout between Beneil Dariush and he cannot afford to lose, Renato Moicano. You know who I'm picking for this one?
I'm curious if we're picking the same one. So, like, who are you picking? Because I think it's an easy winner.
For me, I think it's pretty. I think there could be some complications, but for me, it was a clear pick. When I saw the matchup, my immediate thought is Benny Dariush.
Easy. I couldn't agree more.
And his lines. He was plus money before. I'm pretty sure.
Benny has better jiu-jitsu. They're both chinny as shit. Like they're both chinny as hell. It's not like Moicano is a crazy dangerous striker. Even what he did to BSD was from a body triangle to a full mount ass whooping. He ain't doing that to Benny Dariush. That's for damn sure.
And BSD is like. He was hyped, but the thing about BSD, and I picked Renato Moicano against BSD as well, and although I admit that was a little bit of a chasing the big plus money, Benoit Saint-Denis isn't necessarily that great. He just has vicious pressure.
He's he's also a 7-minute fighter by definition. Like he has 7 good minutes in him, then he's toast.
But Benny although we can say Benny has gotten cracked in his last 2 fights, that's against dogs.
But against a juiced up Charles Oliveira who would glow under a radiation light. And
Arman. If anyone's glowing under a radiation light, it's Arman.
I was like, I'm sorry, I had a mind block on who the other He-Man that he fought to as well. And Arman hit him with like the slickest little tight knit up short left hook. It was disgusting. Or was it an elbow he hit him with in the clinch?
He threw the punch. He threw the knee first. And he landed the hook.
That's what it was. He threw yes. It was like this tight clinch, like perfectly timed. You know who doesn't punch like Charles Oliveira and Arman? Moicano. You know who doesn't clinch up like Arman? Moicano. And what's he gonna do? Try to grapple Benny? There's a guard named after Benny. There's a fucking guard in jiu-jitsu called the Dariush guard.
Yeah, I don't think, just when I saw it.
And
Benny,
I've never thought Moicano was that good, though. I've always been kind of like a Moicano is loved. He's a beloved fighter, but he's not a great fighter.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, but he's not.
And everyone talks about this guy has less of a chin than Benny, or a better chin than Benny because he took that ass whooping against RDA. If anything, that RDA ass whooping made his chin worse.
Yeah, we're gonna probably go with neither of them have they're both susceptible to be getting hurt. And I think Beneil has more power. I think Beneil is a better striker. I think his defense, basically the way that I see it, if Beneil wants to fight on the feet, it will stay on the feet. If he wants the fight to go to the ground, he will take it to the ground. I don't think Renato Moicano is going to be able to dictate the pace of the fight. I think it's going to stay where Beneil Dariush wants it. And outside of, a one-shot knockout from Renato Moicano, I don't see him winning. And I also don't see him knocking Beneil Dariush out. So I just think Beneil Dariush is the better fighter. People want to say Benny's old. Renato Moicano is also 35. They're both 35 years old.
His hair is gray. That's why they always say he's old.
Yeah, but he's a Syrian. So, dude, I actually grew up with this kid whose last name is Assyrian, and he is also Assyrian. And he has had gray in his hair since we were little ass kids, and he already had the gray in his hair. And it's so crazy because he actually looks like Beneil Dariush as well. And they're both from Assyria, and they both have the gray hair. all things considered, besides the gray hair, Benny, he looks good for his age. You got
That's
the
what
touch
I'm
of green.
saying.
People are like, he looks so old. I'm like, no, he doesn't, bro. Come
If
on.
the Benny that shows up that fought Gamrot, even a semblance of him shows up, people forget.
Bro.
People forget. Just
and I
2
was
fights,
all over him in that fight, bro.
bro. Literally just 3 fights ago, people forget he looked world class against
beater.
Gamrot. Like legitimately, like I was saying, this guy beat Islam. Like world level. Like,
Yeah.
nah, bro. Moicano's never looked like that against any caliber opponent like that.
And it's crazy, dude. On that fight card, I picked Bilal Muhammad to beat Sean Brady. I picked Beneil Dariush to beat Mateusz Gamrot. And when that fight was happening, I was so nervous. And the way that Beneil Dariush fought was, like you said, he looked like a world beater. It was mind blowing. I was like, nobody's beating him on that day. If anything like that shows up, he can make it look easy against Moicano. I don't know if he's going to finish it, but he could dominate his way to a decision.
I agree.
I'm super excited. We're on the same side as that. Beneil Dariush, I believe, at one point was plus 125, but it's pretty much down to, it could have been even steeper than that. We're basically at a pick 'em now. Beneil Dariush minus 105.
He's minus 105, which I think is stupid value.
Yeah, that's like even money for a guy who I think is I don't want to say this, but a lock. Like I feel like
he's a guy that should be bare minimum 2-1.
I'm super excited, bro. And I love, no disrespect to Renato Moicano. I love Renato Moicano, but I'm trying to pick who I think is going to win this fight. And all logic is pointing to Beneil Dariush. I will be very, very surprised if Renato Moicano wins this fight.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Best fight of the night is next.
Sheesh.
Best fight of the night is next.
Now this one I'm also interested to see because when I saw when I saw this matchup announced, I immediately knew who I was picking.
I also know who I'm picking, so I'll go first on this one then in this case. I think the guy that's fought in the higher level experience is going to win. I'm going to take Brandon Royval at plus 100. Brandon Royval has a grappling edge. He may not have the wrestling edge per se because I don't think either of them are going to be necessarily going for takedowns. If we've seen Charles Johnson even though he clipped him, and here's one thing, Josh Van is also chinny. Josh Van is chinny. We've seen him hurt by Edgar Chairez. We've seen him wrecked up by our boy Charles Johnson in terms of like how that shit got rocked. And everyone says that he was beating up Charles Johnson that fight. I didn't see it the same way. I actually thought it was a pretty close round 2 specifically.
Dude, I had Charles Johnson up on the cards to that point.
So I see Brandon Royval. He has a better kicking game. One thing that does worry me is the way that Brandon Royval probes. So when he probes, you'll see too as well. I'm going to stand up for this. As we all know, he straight probes, leaves open the body shot. So I think that could be an issue here for him getting his body ripped up. I think the combinations body up top for Josh Van are always going to cause an issue to Brandon Royval, who does have an issue from high to low blocking specifically. But besides that, man, give me Brandon Royval. He's going to win via pressure. He's going to win. He has good fight IQ too, man. Like I just think Brandon Royval is just a hell of a fighter, man. He's fought in the best of the best, and Josh Van's a hell of a fighter, and he will contend for a title. But the dude's like 23 years old, and it won't be today. Give me Brandon Royval. If Brandon Royval wins this fight, especially if he wins it impressively, he absolutely deserves a title shot, man. So yeah, give me Brandon Royval. I'm oddly confident in this one. So, and if he beats Tatsuro Taira, Brandon Moreno, and Joshua Van, former champion, 2 crazy high hyped up prospects in a row, give him the title shot, man.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Brandon Moreno beat him in that fight, but at the same time, I picked him over Tatsuro Taira. I'm picking him here against Joshua Van. I think, dude, Brandon Royval is one of my favorite fighters. But I don't think this is a biased pick. Like you had already mentioned, he's fought.
Breaking news: Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling officially announced. Ooh. Brian Ortega, Aljamain Sterling, UFC Shanghai. That Johnny Walker and Zhang Mingyang main event.
Oh, that's fucked up, bro. Johnny Walker might get put out bad, dude.
Might get put out bad. He's gonna get put out bad. It's Johnny Walker.
Dude, I love Johnny Walker, bro. Look, I got a PSA 9 Johnny Walker signed card. right on my desk. I love Johnny Walker, and I don't want him to get put out in cartoon fashion again. But he's fighting exactly the guy who's going to do it. But yeah, like I was saying about Brandon Royval, obviously he's fought the better competition. Joshua Van is real good, but he's also a bit small. In the smallest division in the sport, he's a little bit small. 5'5". He's given up 4 inches in height, only 3 inches in reach, which that's not very much. His boxing is crisp. His takedown defense is pretty proper. But I could see. I don't know if I want to say. I think Brandon Royval is past victory. He's going to have to mix it up. It's only 3 rounds. I think he's going to have to, at least threaten the takedowns to keep Joshua Van on his toes about what's going to happen next. But I can't see. I mean, fuck, man. I just don't see Joshua Van going out there. What's he going to do? Knock him out? Or I guess he could box his way to a decision if he, sticks and moves.
That's a big problem I have with this fight is the fact that Joshua Van has one linear way to win this fight. He has to box him up. And Brandon Royval is good enough to move. Brandon Royval is good enough to cause chaos, which could cause Joshua Van to get out of his own game plan. And if Brandon Royval can somehow get this fight to the ground, because I don't think he has necessarily super high-level wrestling, his grappling's so good and so spastic in so many different ways that not only could he latch something up on Joshua Van, he could also hold him down there and make his life kind of hell. So I don't know, man. Actually, I want to see what's Brandon Royval by submission, man. Brandon Royval by submission at plus 700, man. That's no doubt worth a sprinkle to me.
They think Josh Van's going to win by decision.
Yeah. And you know what? And I think Brandon Royval is going to win. I think it's too early. I just think it's a little bit too early. This is a big ass step up. This is a big step up, man. This isn't Cody Sharp. This isn't Edgar Chairez. This isn't Cody fucking Durden. This isn't Bruno Silva. This is Brandon Royval. Don't let those 7 losses on that record fool anybody, man. This guy's him. This guy's like legitimately him, and he's gotten better over time.
I don't see him just beating.
He's gotten so much. Brandon Royval's gotten so much better. He's one of those few fighters in the UFC that you can see from the beginning of their run to now how much more improved they are. Corey Sandhagen's another one of those guys, in my personal opinion, and it's no surprise that they both train in elevation like they do. So,
yeah, let's go. This fight's gonna be. I think this fight will be pretty exciting, especially if you're betting on it. This one might be a cheat clincher.
Yes, this one, no doubt about it. You'll be like, there's going to be, if it goes to the judges' scorecard, there will no doubt about it be Twitter discourse.
Yeah. They're going to be, if it goes to a decision, they're going to go 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27. And you're like, what?
No, it's going to be 29-28, ban. 30-27, Royval. And by final judge, 28-28, this judge is a draw.
That would be crazy as shit. The amount of times that we see draws, unless it's that Jimmy Crute fighting, we are not seeing them often. Oh, man, I'm excited for this card. I'm excited for this fight. Joshua Van has a chance to step into the upper echelon of the division, I
feel like this is the fight that I'd be most excited for sure, was the Joshua Van Royval fight, just because I love Royval. And
me too.
Joshua Van, no doubt, could win this fight. I just think it's a little too early.
Yeah, he has to prove to me that he can hang with this.
Which I really do hate, because after his loss versus Charles Johnson, I don't know how many more losses he really has to afford, like in terms of like his title hopes. Just because the UFC is so finicky and UFC fans are so finicky about fraud check, this, that, and the third, like, it's like, brother, like if he loses to Brandon Royval, he should still get a top 10 opponent for even stepping up.
Bro, they're going to, even though he already lost to Charles Johnson, I guarantee you, if we see Joshua Van lose to Brandon Royval this weekend, go on Twitter, they're going to be saying he got fraud checked. And it's like, bro, what the fuck does fraud check even mean anymore, bro?
At this point, it's absolutely just the most horrendous thing that people even like to say. So
it's just like trolling. Like the most recent fraud check that I can possibly think of, and I don't even like using the term, but the most recent one I can think of is Raoni Barcelos over Payton Talbott. But even still, we just saw Raoni Barcelos beat Cody Garbrandt. Like, good fighters.
I don't understand how it's a fraud check when it's simply finding holes in their game.
Exactly.
How are these fighters? How are these like Payton Talbot's always known, yeah, I'm not a great wrestler, but I'm athletic enough to stop these wrestlers. Until he ran into a great wrestler like Raoni Barcelos. Raoni Barcelos is a multiple-time national Brazilian champion on the wrestling team, like a 2-stripe black belt judoka, like crazy good offensive wrestling to get the fight to the ground. Underrated as fuck. And yet we're going to say fraud checked? Maybe he now knows, and maybe he spent every fucking training session legitimately in the wrestling room because he knows he can dead-eye motherfuckers and just knock them out if he needs to.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird term because at the end of the day,
Fucking
these guys are all
stupid.
professionals. These guys are all professional fighters.
Bo Nix was the biggest fraud check lately.
I don't know though, because Rainier de Ritter is a 2-weight world champion. Like he's let's say Rainier de Ritter goes out and
world champion, brother. He was fighting fucking 27 and 16 Asians and won. Stop it,
dude. A lot of people I'm picking him against Robert Whittaker.
John Pascal boxes this weekend. He's a former world champion.
If Rainier de Ritter beats Bo Nickel, or if he beats Robert Whittaker, what are you gonna say?
Who, Rainier de Ritter?
Yeah.
That Robert Whittaker's washed.
Oh, come on.
Robert Whittaker is washed as fuck, partner.
He's not washed.
He's washed as fuck.
Dude, he was looking
good. He got dropped. He's always been chinny, okay? Now his accumulation of wars are finally caught up to him. Robert Whittaker is washed as fuck. When he loses to Rene De Ritter, because he will probably get choked. When he loses to Rene De Ritter, I will say Robert Whittaker is washed and Rene De Ritter is like DDP. This guy fucking got clipped by Paulo Costa. He beat Askren, which was easy money. But then he got his jaw literally crushed and reconstructed versus Chimaev, which no shame there. And I know losing to DDP, but dude, wash doesn't mean that you're not putting out best performances. Wash in this case for him means his chin's gone. It's literally been reconstructed. His literal chin has been reconstructed. He's always had issues taking shots. And he's getting dragged to the floor by no technique by DDP. What's a bigger, stronger, longer dude, better jiu-jitsu is going to do? Like Rene De Ritter. He's going to
DDP does break the, like he did the same thing to Izzy, and usually Izzy's not going down like that either though. So DDP is a freak human.
You know he's like a tank, like strong as fuck. But Rene De Ritter has all these dumbass retarded takedowns too. He dragged Bo Nix to the floor, bro.
Dude, I think Rene De Ritter, I think he's gonna beat Robert Whittaker as well. I hope he doesn't, but I think he's going.
He dragged Bo Nix to the floor, like
Bo Nix.
Hey, Bo Nix is still a great wrestler. Say what the fuck you want.
Dude, Bo Nix is an amazing quarterback.
Bo Nix, I keep saying that.
I like Bo Nix.
Bo Nickel, that's hilarious. Bo Nix. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Thinking all like Denver, bro. I thought a Denver fight elevation team. Instantly thought of fucking Bo Nix.
Bro, he's nice, dude. Bo Nix is fire.
Yeah. So Pantoja, Kai Kara France, how you have this one going?
I bet you could guess how I got it going.
Hopefully the same way as me.
I'm
Pantoja all the way.
I'm going with my boy. Kai Kara France. I think he's knocking Pantoja out. That chin's finally cracking. And
those steroids overcome everything, brother.
Kai Kara France.
True Mike versus Nick pick here. Give me Pantoja in the long game.
Yeah, I think
Iki 48-47. Iki 48-47 because Kai Kara France is tough.
Kai Kara France is also known to get robbed. That happened against fucking Amir Albazi. That was a blatant
all-timer robbery. That's an all-timer robbery.
That shit was unbelievable. And then after that fight, he could have, propelled himself to a title shot even earlier. And it sucks that happened for Kai Kara France. I just think, and also Don't Blink is one of the coolest nicknames in the game. 25-11-0, double-digit losses, but he is one of the best fighters you'll ever see with that many losses on his record. In
MMA, I think it's kind of hard pressed to look at the records and be like, damn, he sucks. It's like, dude, look at the motherfuckers that he's lost to, bro. He should have beat Amir Albazi, Brandon Moreno, the champion. I mean, the guy we were just discussing, Brandon Royval, is a fucking tank beast. Like, he only loses to the best of the best, bro. And including the guy that we're talking about now, Pantoja.
That one's not on the record, though.
Huh?
That one's not on the record.
Doesn't matter, bro. I've seen The Ultimate Fighter. I watched. I seen it. I seen it.
Yeah, I just think right now it could be Kai Kara France's time. I mean, this is a little bit of a biased pick for me, but I feel like Alexandre Pantoja, he does gas, even though he gets tired, he's able to continue to press forward his wrestling. It does turn into more of a stalling lay and pray type of situation when he does get gas, like he did against Brandon Royval late and like he did against Steve Erceg late. But Kai Kara France, he's got some pretty solid takedown defense. He has good awareness when he's on the mat, although he did get subbed by Pantoja already. He's grown a lot since that performance.
He's been subbed by Brandon Royval too.
But I mean, he's slick as fuck too, and this was also some years ago.
Pantoja has better pure jiu-jitsu than Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval, back then when he did sub him, not anymore, but back then, used to just throw shit up, bro.
Yeah. He just has that crazy.
He was a Tasmanian devil for real.
Yeah. I can see because Pantoja gets cracked. Like he doesn't go down. He doesn't get finished. He's never been finished.
It's all those ATT steroids in his fucking system, brother.
But Kai Kara France, if this fight stays on the feet, I think he's live to get a knockout. I mean, if his cardio holds up, I think he's still live to take it on the cards. Pantoja is incredible, and obviously I can see a realm where Pantoja has his way in the wrestling and finds a way to win 3 out of the 5 rounds or 4 out of the 5 rounds. But at this stage in his career, he's not that old. He's 35, Pantoja, or is he? How old is this motherfucker?
I've never even looked at his age. I think 35 sounds. Yeah, he's 35.
Yeah, he's 35. Kai Kara France is 32, and here's
just turned 35 though, so he's like at 34. But
yeah, if there's anyone that's gonna chin Pantoja, it's Kai Kara France, and I'm willing.
Wait, it wasn't Kaya Sakura. That's really a 135er, possibly a 145er.
The thing about Kaya Sakura,
boxing a fucking Steve Erceg. It wasn't one of those guys that was gonna chin him.
Well, Steve Erceg got nuked by Kai Kara France, and Kaya Sakura is not.
Yeah, Steve Erceg is sharp as fuck. He just has no chin.
Yeah, but Kaya Sakura is not great, and I think that Kai Kara France.
But he's a way bigger hitter than Kai Kara France.
I think
way bigger hitter.
Kai Kara France smokes Kaya Sakura, guaranteed. And I think he's just a better fighter than anyone.
You want to put money on this, imaginary fight they just made, Doug?
Dude, I mean,
hypothetical matchmaking.
There's no way that Kaya Sakura is going to be back in the title. If Kai Kara France even wins,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's a way bigger hitter, bro. And
I think Kai Kara France is a cleaner hitter, though. Okay. I think he's. If I'm gonna say it, I think he's better technically, and he has power in his own respect. They call him "Don't Blink" for a reason, and I'm just going to go with Kai Kara France, money line, and Kai Kara France by knockout. I think he might be able to do the undoable and finish Alex Pantoja. Kai Kara France by knockout, plus 550. On the other side, Alexandre Pantoja by submission is plus 225, which does have some value as well, considering he already subbed him, although it was years ago. But I'm going with my boy Kai Kara France, man. He's been one of my favorite fighters for the longest time now, and I just think he's an absolute gamer. When he fought Brandon Moreno, he was actually, the tide of that fight was turning, and he was starting to find a lot of success. It looked like all the momentum was going his way. Boom, liver kick, fight's over. So, outside of, getting taken down and subbed, I think he has a pretty solid chance. I think he's going to defend takedowns well. He will be taken down, I'm sure, but I think he's going to be able to survive when he's down there and find a way to get back to his feet. I know he's hungry. I'm just going with the boy. Fuck it. Mike versus Nick pick. Nick's rocking with Pantoja, the champion. 1-0 against Kai Kara France already. I'm rocking with Kai Kara France to get it done as an underdog at UFC 317. I'm hyped as fuck. And then this next fight is pretty crazy. The main event, Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. What do you think about this one?
What's up undeserved ass title shots, bro? 2 undeserved ass title shots in a row, bro. Kai Kara France fucking beat one dude, one fucking dude, even though he technically got robbed by Amir Balzi. And then you have Charles Oliveira beat one fucking dude after getting beat by the dude that should be getting a title shot in Armand. It's so fucking stupid.
For the flyweight, though, you
So
gotta learn.
fucking stupid. It's
How is it in flyweight? It's not dumb though.
flyweight. I'm not even that mad at because there's really no one.
He's beating everyone.
I agree. Even though Brandon Royval absolutely should be getting that shot over fucking Kyle Sakura, not a question.
Yeah,
Because as long as we agree with that, that's fine.
Well, Kai Kara France or Brandon Royval should have got it over Kyle Sakura. They just let him come in, never fought in the UFC, and he gets a title shot and gets absolutely.
Brandon Royval was getting set up with either Cape or now Joshua Van. But anyways, this is an undeserved ass title shot. So I have 2 bets pre-fight that I feel very confident in. That I think are worth playing, and then I will give you my thoughts and discussion and breakdown of the fights. Charles Oliveira on DraftKings over takedown plus 300.
Over 1 takedown?
Plus 300.
What the fuck?
Bro, the way he double-legged Michael Chandler, okay? The way that he can drag fights to the floor, the way that when he gets rocked, he likes to shoot. And the fact that a smaller guy in Ilia Topuria is coming up, who has been taken down by longer ranger fighters such as Yusuf Zalal. Yeah, and Bryce Mitchell. Yeah, give me Charles Oliveira over takedown at plus 300. Love that play.
I think he's going to get knocked out or something because Ilia Topuria's takedowns plus 225 as well. They do not think this shit's going to the ground.
Another play that I like to play pre. If you're going to play Ilia Topuria, the only way I would play this is Ilia Topuria rounds 1 and 2 at plus 100. It's the only way I would play it is Ilia Topuria rounds 1 and 2 at plus 100. You can find that at FanDuel, plus 100. Only way I would play Ilia Topuria because I think if it gets past rounds 1 and 2, Charles is beyond the live dog. All month I've been beating the drum that you have Chinny Charles Oliveira fighting a fighter that has probably the most significant punch that he's going to fight easily, who has better fight IQ than people give him credit for and really good tracking in the cage. Ilia Topuria tracks and cuts off the cage better than possibly any fighter in the UFC. Now coming up from 145 with no weight cut, so it means he's going to be stronger. He's not going to be worried about his cardio, and he's not going to be worried about his own chin. I've been beating the drum that Ilia is going to knock Charles the fuck out forever. And for whatever reason, the last few days, I am holding back on that thought. So the way I'm going to play this fight, because I think Charles is, for whatever reason, live. Maybe I'm letting Twitter and YouTube get into my head. I'm going to play this fight. Ilia Topuria, rounds 1 and 2, plus 100. Charles to get a takedown, plus 300 by DraftKings. If it gets past round 2, I'm hedging myself, and I'm taking Charles Oliveira live. That's exactly how I'm playing this fight to the T. So if y'all want to play with me, FanDuel plus 100, Ilia rounds 1 and 2. Charles Oliveira, 1 takedown, DraftKings props, plus 300. And then we're going to have it fucking live dog play 3 rounds, 4 and 5 for Oliveira. That's how I'm going to play it. What you got, Mike?
I mean, you think he can only win in rounds 1 and 2? He knocked out Max Holloway in round 3, didn't he?
Yeah, Max Holloway has, even though the weight was getting to him and the time was getting to him, 1,000 times better chin than Charles Oliveira. I don't care how much steroids Charles Oliveira is on. And the one thing I can trust about Ilia Topuria is if he hurts you, he will finish you. Yeah, I can trust that. I can absolutely trust that. And if Michael Chandler's finding your chin at moments, Dustin Poirier's finding your chin at moments, that's not taken away from Dustin Poirier. Let me use a different person. I'm sorry, because Dustin's a dog and he has sharp MMA boxing, not like boxing, but MMA boxing. And you know one thing, Charles hates body shots. Fucking hates getting work to the body. And Ilia is one of the best body punchers in MMA. We're going to see 2 of the best body punchers in MMA on this card with Joshua Van and Ilia Topuria.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Charles is 35 or 36 now. He has all the tools to beat anybody, but at the same time, even before he has
all the offensive tools. I don't think he has all the defensive tools.
Yeah, and he gets comfortable in guard because he has a dangerous jiu-jitsu game. So,
his overhook system as a jiu-jitsu player, I love. He has a crazy overhook system. His use of MMA butterflies are next level, but he gets too comfortable utilizing all these things.
Yeah, there's times where he could just be on the bottom and now he's spamming elbows, and it's like, dude, you got to get up. I think Ilia Topuria is a 4-1 favorite for a reason. Realistically, the way I see this fight playing out is that Ilia Topuria, kind of walks him down, gets in and out, avoids big power shots from Charles Oliveira. Like you said, goes to the body, gets him a little bit worried, goes up to the head, and finishes him with a beautiful combo. I like Ilia Topuria, and I feel like it's good for the sport if he does win. But the fan in me loves Charlie Olives, and it's going to be sad if he gets knocked out. But I'll be happy for Ilia Topuria. There's a lot of fun matchups to make at that weight class. And if Charles Oliveira wins, then we get to see the champion has a name one more time. I just don't think it's happening this weekend. I gotta go with Ilia Topuria here, but his knockout prop is -175, and on DraftKings to win in rounds 1 or 2 is -110. For me, I think this is going to be more of a. I'm just going to enjoy this fight. If anything, throw on Charles Oliveira over 1 takedown, because that +300, that's pretty juicy. I can see Charles Oliveira, taking some body shots and shooting a takedown. He could get the takedown, and Ilia Topuria can bounce right back up and go back to work, but that's still a +300 cash. So yeah, I think Ilia Topuria is going to win this one. The fan in me is going to be sad, but also I feel like it's better for the sport if the young, undefeated featherweight champion comes up and takes that belt at lightweight. And then we get to see a potential superstar matchup between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett. And I know the press conference and the lead up for that's going to be an absolute banger.
You're dumb as fuck.
Who, me?
Yes.
Why would I be dumb for?
There's no chance in fucking God's green earth Paddy Pimblett's getting next title shot.
Dude,
if he does, I will say here on air right now, I will send you $20 if Paddy Pimblett is the next title shot.
Ilia Topuria just said he wanted to fight him.
Doesn't matter if Ilia wants to fight him. Arman is way before him on that
yeah, but Arman pulled out
Justin Gaethje. And everyone keeps bringing that up. What does that have to do with anything? He hasn't lost. No one has fucking beat him. No one has beat him. And guess what? Then they would match up Paddy and Arman, and Paddy would fucking get murdered.
I don't even know, dude. Paddy's nice.
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm positive of that. I am sure of that.
I'm at a point now where I'm picking Paddy pretty much no matter who he's fighting.
I love you, Mike. You're the man for that.
I like Paddy, man. I wasn't expecting him to beat the fuck out of Michael Chandler like that. When I saw that, I was like, Michael Chandler.
That was easy. That was an easy call.
But the way he beat him up, we never seen Michael Chandler get beat up like that, bro. He got fucking brutalized. That was the best performance.
I'd be lying if I said I assumed he was going to get fucking Billy the Butchered for real.
And although Chandler's old, that was to this point the most impressive performance I have seen this year from a fighter. He beat the 12-6 elbows through the guard. Was just, I felt bad, man. I love Chandler.
And he beat the fuck out of Mike. That's like a career changing ass whooping.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Mike's already on the down end anyways, but yeah, this card's fucking awesome. I actually really need to take a shit and then go walk my dog. But let me give you my 3-leg parlay before I do, because I feel confident about these 3 legs. Give me Benny Dariush, Brandon Royval, and Terrance McKinney under 1.5 at +590. I feel very confident in that. I think you can do Terrance McKinney round 1, but just to be safe, give me Terrance McKinney under 1.5. Which you could parlay on DraftKings for -130. Brandon Royval +100. Benny Dariush at -105. All comes out to +509. I feel great about that parlay.
I think I got a little banger here too.
What you got, my boy?
I'm gonna rock with. Let's see. Oh, they just put the odds up for that first fight that we didn't talk about. I mean, I have no knowledge on that, so I'm not even gonna act like I do. I'm gonna go with. This one's a little bit crazy, but I'm gonna say. I mean, fuck. I could just do 2 legs, and it'd be +475. Kai Kara France and Beneil Dariush. But if I take out Kai Kara France, go Beneil Dariush. Honestly, similar to yours, Beneil Dariush, Brandon Royval, and let me get Jose Delgado +531. I am nervous about Royval, but at the same time, I feel very confident that he wins the fight. All I know is Benny Dariush is my most confident pick of the week. I don't even think it's close. Beneil Dariush, favorite pick of the week. Favorite underdog of the week for me is going to be Kai Kara France. There aren't that many dogs that are barking on this card. I do like that. Terrance McKinney, Royval, and Dariush. I feel like that's a hitter. There are not many dogs on this card.
I mean, I think that's a banger low key, dog. Super banger.
That is a banger. Only dogs I like are Kaikar France and very nervously Payton Talbott. Neither of them I'm very confident in.
Yeah, I nervously like Payton Talbott as well, but that's a play you absolutely watch live. You see how Felipe Lima kind of looks, how his breathing looks, and things of that nature. It's a little bit rough to play pre, but I don't think maybe I was just a little bit disappointed with Felipe Lima's last performance.
Yeah, it's going to be a banger. You guys already know what's going on. If you're betting, of course, as always, do your own research, bet responsibly. The most important thing is that we're going to enjoy these fights. It's a little less enjoyable when the bets aren't hitting, but at the same time, this card, top to bottom, is an absolute banger, and we're looking forward to it. Probably post a couple plays on Twitter. You got our Twitter names right here. Follow Combat Sports Today, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We should have said it in the beginning, but we didn't. If you're still here, throw a like down on there, and we'll be tuned in for UFC 317. Appreciate everyone who joined, and let's get this money.
Peace. All right, big dog.